Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. Well, as you can tell by the title, we have got a story tonight, and I figure we might as well just jump at the gates. All in all for everything. So, before I get started, please don't judge me. This was just a part of my past. As I started before, I didn't want to ever hide anything from you guys, so I didn't know if maybe somebody I have been in magazines, things like that. If it got brought to the attention of the light, I figured I would rather bring it up myself than to have somebody try to expose me. So I thought, hey, what better than to expose myself? So I know not everybody has been an exotic dancer, stripper, go-go dancer, whatever you want to call it. So I figured this could be an interesting video for some people. I know that I've had people tell me, wow, I've always thought about that. I think it'd be cool for a day. So I'm going to kind of show you into the light and into the back room, the dressing room, of what it was like to be an exotic dancer. So without further ado, let's get started. Again, I ask you, please keep your comments respectable. Again, to each their own, but I was never, meeting people outside of the club. I never showed my lady bits, I wasn't escorting, things like that. So I just really want to put that into each their own. The sex industry's great, if you got the confidence, but I tried to keep work at work, and that's what we're going to get into of different things. You've got a little bit of everything going on in a strip club. So without further ado, let's get started. I do have some pictures over here. Some of them are small. I did want to show the respect of other people being covered. Most people probably moved on. This was years and years ago. I'm sure people, well, definitely, I still talk to some. Some people have kids. Some people want to leave that in their past. Some people are like me. It was a cool experience, but I do want to keep everybody that's in the pictures, covered. There are some people that I talked to that said, go for it. And I thought, let's just keep it just me. That way, I want to keep other people's privacy out there. Or, their privacy can, you know what I mean. Keep their private life private. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll get into like what it's like. Just kind of ins and outs of it, different kind of people, things I've been through, how did I get into it? Let's just get into it. So you might say, Kaya, how in the world did you get in something like that? Well, I got into it as a friend that I used to have. She wasn't one of my closest friends. She was one of my friends, one of his sisters. And I was kind of like, I don't have any kids. I didn't have anything tying me down, a house, I've always, been a sous chef, worked in fancy restaurants, but I was kind of sick of slinging grease in the kitchen. I kind of wanted to put my fillers out, travel, and things like that. So, you can travel being a chef, but you got to, make sure you got a spot, go down, find a job, wherever you're at. I was kind of looking for that quick money back in the day, as you would say. So my friend says, let's go. And I'm like, all right. I'm not going to lie to you. I was completely scared, you-know-what-less. I didn't have any attire. I didn't have any shoes. I had nothing. I didn't know the first thing about anything. I was shy about talking. I'm pretty outspoken to you guys, but when it goes to, meeting somebody random in a club and sitting down and have a drink with them, what do you say? What do you talk about? And it goes into this, there are many people that go into a club. You have kind of two genres, I guess you want to say, of people. You have your people that are there specifically to, gander and take a peek, and that's what they're there for. And then you just have some honest-to-God people that don't have anybody in their life. Maybe their parents have died, they're single, they don't have any children. That's kind of what is the two, peas of the pod of people that come into the clubs. You definitely have, your guys that are just there for one thing and, they want to have a good time, get drunk and, see some, tatas and that's that. But you do have some people that, you become regulars with. Sorry, Simon's hacking up a hairball in the background. You do have some people that come in that you do become friends with or associates with. They come in every week. They, ask about your life and... Sorry, he took a drink of water so quick and now. But, You do have people that come in that are regulars that you do kind of, you know, you don't tell everything to, but you know, hey, how you doing? If they're going through something, they'll open up to you, you know, how's your mother doing? You know, if somebody's got, you know, maybe their mom's sick or whatever. These people come in and you are their confidant. You are their therapist. You are their counselor. You could be their marriage counselor. You could be whatever to them. And that's what you do is you sit down and listen and you give your input, or you try to give your input, and you are engaged in what they are saying. So, how about money in the strip club? I know that's going to be the number one question. What can you make? What have you made? What's some of the best days you have? Stripping is kind of like fishing. Legitimately, it's kind of like fishing. You could have a $100 day. You could have a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 day, depending who's walking in there. And I'm not saying every day is going to be great by any means, but there's times that rappers, I'm not going to mention any names, you know, but there's times rappers have came in. There's times actors have came in. Some of the clubs that I worked at, I've worked at all clubs, honestly. I've worked in the Everyday Joe Blow Club, and I've worked in the, you know, shut the club down, so-and-so's coming in from out of town, he wants 10 girls, we're locking the door, and he's paid for the club for the night. I have worked at all caliber, I have worked at your mom and pa clubs, and I've worked at your high caliber clubs. You know, so, the one club that I worked at, where I started at, that's where we're reeling it back in. I know sometimes when I talk about things, I go all over the place. So back to how I got started. So my friend says, let's go. She had already danced. I had never danced a day in my life. Again, I didn't own any attire. I didn't know what to take. She said, just come on. Bring you, and we'll get the stuff later. You can borrow some of it. You know, I bought undergarments, of course, but, you know, got some shoes. But she said, you know, like, believe it or not, I'm not going to lie to you. This is back years ago, you know, when I did my thing. This little outfit here, we'll just kind of put it, and again, I was way smaller, you guys. I was way smaller back when I danced, so this stuff doesn't fit now, but let me know in the comments, would you like, I have a dance bag box that I found, and if you want to go through it, but you get the gist. This is like a tube top, etc., and again, you know, this stuff fit, I was a lot smaller, but this is a skirt. This here was probably $50, $60, $70 for these two little pieces. So, being a dancer is definitely not, you're looking for a good pair of shoes, $130, $140, you know, maybe if you can find them on sale, $80. This stuff is not cheap in any shape, way. Again, if you want, we can go through my dance bag. I haven't went through it in years, and actually, I need to pass on some of these outfits to somebody that can use them because they're just taking up space. But, so she says, you know, we'll get you some undergarments. There's a, you know, a dance store down the road. We'll get you some garments. You can pay me back, you know, cool. I was like, all right. You know, I go in, I'm looking at the price of the stuff, and I'm just like, good night. These little things are so expensive, and they're just little things. Like, why is that $70? That's not even a half a yard of fabric. But it was a uniform. That's what you needed. You know, you wanted to fit in, you wanted something flashy, you know, when you got a million contenders, and that's the thing. Some girls are very nice, some girls don't want anything to do with you because you are competition, you are out to get their almighty dollars. So, you got your good women, and you got your bad women that are like, don't talk to me, don't look at me, I'm too good for you, and then you got, you know, hey, does this makeup look good? Yeah, girl, you could maybe add a little here, you know. It's just like any other job. It's competition. You know, some women are friendly, some women are not. So I do have a story time to where, you know what, hit the fan in the club, and that's a whole other thing. Sorry, guys. Simon's fighting sugar back here. Simon, stop. Sorry, guys. Okay, so get to the club. It's a Friday night. I'm like, what am I going to do? So what we were doing was we was renting a hotel. Simon, calm down, buddy. Sorry, guys. Simon's round up and he's trying to chase sugar. So, we had rented a hotel until we got enough to get an apartment, or if we were going to go our separate ways, you know, we needed a hotel to stay in, you know, to be able to, you know, shower, use the restroom, go to work the next day. So I was like, I got to do this. Hold on. Simon. Calm down, Mr. Pigs. Simon, hey. Sorry, Simon is wound tight. Simon. So, I thought, you know what, I gotta do this. I gotta at least pay her back for my half of the room. I gotta at least, you know, I gotta throw in the gas money. I gotta pay back for my parts. I gotta at least do this, you know, to get the money back. So, she takes me to this club, and it's no little club. It is one of the absolute most big clubs in the city. And I'm like, you want me to do what? It's Friday night. The club is packed. Hold on. Hey, Mr. Pigs. You want me to do what? It is Friday. I mean, you guys, this was back when our economy was way different. This is years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago. You guys, it's packed. The stage is the size of my freaking house right now. So, hold on. Simon! Mr. Pigs. His tail's like... So, I'm like, oh my god, these girls, you guys, they were beautiful. Beautiful. Everything perfect, you know, everything just to the T, you know, costume, I mean, everything perfect. These girls had been doing this for years. You know, they knew to get up there, what to do. They had regulars, so I was intimidated. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, what did I get myself into? Let me pay this girl back, and then I'm scootling my tail back, you know, to where I belong. So I get up there, and they're like, to the stage, and I'm like, oh, God. So that's when Liquid Courage kicked in, and I'm not, you know, back then, I didn't, you know, partake in any activities, so I thought, you know, I'm not an alcoholic by any means. I thought, I'm going to have a drink, man. I gotta have a drink before I get up here. I am scared, you know what, Les. I mean, you got all these guys that are in suits, and I'm like, man, these guys, you know, they're looking for the Pacific, you know. Just in my eyes, I wasn't good enough, I guess. I wasn't, I've always been a bit bigger, but I wasn't your typical, you know, Barbie, blonde hair, giant boobs. You know, I didn't fit the genre. So that's where I had to figure out what my niche was gonna be. How can I contend with these girls that everything's perfect? These girls are freaking pulling in serious. I mean, they're swiping, putting their money in a bag when they get off stage. I'm like, is anybody even going to tip me? So kind of what I did, I thought, you know what? Everybody's, you know, from the city. I'm going to kind of just play on my little, you know, countryness, I guess you could say. I don't really know how to, just kind of play on my countryness, I guess you could say. Small town girl, big town city, kind of roll with that. So, I was like, okay, get up there, and I'm like, okay, I've always danced. I used to be in ballerina, things like that when I was young, so I always have loved to dance. So I thought, you know what, just get up there, block them out, dance, do your thing. I will never, ever forget the first song that I danced to was Kid Rock Cowboy. That is when Kid Rock Cowboy came out, and I was like, what do you want to hear? And I was like, I don't know, man, something upbeat. And I thought, you know, I don't know, Kid Rock Cowboy. That, I don't know why it sticks to me, but that is the first, so it's like, you hear that, I want to be a cowboy. So I get up there, do my thing, block the people out, and I'm like, oh, God, okay, one down. Now the next problem, on to make money. So I'm like, my friend, she's just, you know, she's like a cat let loose out in a freaking, she's a you know, she's got money hanging in there. I'm like, oh, my God, you know, so got to find me somebody to set with, or somebody that wants to set with me. So I'm kind of like, you know, I'm sure I look like, what am I doing here? My tail between my legs, like a, you know, squirrel in headlights in the road. And I thought, man, what? So I just kind of mingled around, would drink a drink, and it worked out. So I'm like, okay, first night's done. Oh my gosh, you guys. I had freaking bruises on my elbows, like, from the pool, climbing on. I felt like I had been beat up. You want to talk about workout. When you're working at, and when I started, I always started with the big, big, tall shoes. Could I ever walk in them now? Absolutely not. But you'll see in one of these pictures, they were even bigger than this. I had these shoes. They were this tall, and the platform was this big. And I'm already tall. I'm 5'7" as is. So my feet, you guys, my body hurt. The next day, she's like, ready to go to work? I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. I feel like I've been ran over by a truck. You're moving parts and elbows and, things, and you're like, good night, that's a workout. So needless to say, long story, we'll get into the pictures here in a minute. I know you guys are dying with here. We'll give you a little spoil alert and then we'll go into the rest of them. So, let me make sure I got post-it notes. Again, like I said, I want to make sure. So, here is some pictures, and I'm like, God, hopefully I don't regret this. I tried to, let me make sure everything. So, this is now prior time to when I figured things out. These aren't like back in the day, I wish I could find, but these are when I really started getting the hang of things, really getting my niche, and really, figured things out. So if you're wondering what this is in my hair, I used to have dreadlocks. So I was always a little bit bigger, as you can tell. I wasn't the smallest pea in the pod, And that's kind of, I use that as my niche too, So here's just a black and white one. So, okay, here's how things pretty much go from here on out. To not make this a million-hour song, I do got some more. We'll show them at the end. So, I ended up staying with the girl. We, did not get along in any shape, way, or form. We just really did not. We clashed. We listened to different music. We just were two peas. Like, we just, it was great. She helped me, but it was just like we constantly bickered. You go left, I'll go right. I mean, even driving. It just got to be a lot. So I used to let her drive my car. I had a stick shift and I did not know how to drive it, believe it or not. The car that I wanted back in the day was a stick shift and I didn't know how to drive it, so I would always let her drive my car, and she was trying to take my car without asking. So needless to say, we ended up splitting ties. So here's what comes into the story and how I end up staying where I was at. So she ended up, we start, working a different club. That club closed, the Big Daddy Club. That closed, so we moved on to a smaller club, and we met one of her high school friends. What, this girl was freaking awesome. We hit it off. This girl just happened to have an extra room, an extra finished basement. And I was like, this is freaking amazing. Well, her and the girl started bickering, and the girl told me, she goes, so-and-so's going to move out, but you're more than welcome to stay if you want. I know you're good about paying your rent. You go to work with me. We get along great. You're more than welcome to stay. And I'm like, cool. I'll take the basement. She had a boyfriend and such. They did their own thing. I had a buddy, whatever. I just went out and explored the city. I was young and I could come home when I wanted. I didn't have any, kids or anything to tie me down. So that worked out great. Lived with them for a long time, paid great. They were awesome. We'd go swimming. We had a great time. I have pictures, maybe we'll do like different years of my life. I have pictures of, I was really into photography there for a while. So anyways, so we ended up really loving this club. I found a club. I was really just like, it was almost all regulars. Of course, you would get people in from out of town and different bachelor parties and stuff, but this club was like, it was like a Cheers, but it was like a dance club. But it was all regulars. All the girls got along good. You didn't have to worry about, like I said, I got a crazy story time about things in a strip club, but that's another day. You didn't have to worry about your things getting stolen, of course, you keep your money on you, but people would take this stuff in a heartbeat. So you would have to really make sure your locker was locked. And again, there's lockers. Some of these pictures I'll show you in the one club I worked at for a while. We're back in the locker room. We take pictures. But you really had to watch out. Newbies would come in, work a day or a weekend, and they try to roll out with stuff knowing they were never coming back. So that's, what's cool with this club is everybody watched each other's back. Everybody would say, hey, my customer has a guy that needs somebody set with. Would you like to join me? It was the absolute coolest club ever. So we get a phone call one weekend from our boss, and he says, don't come in this weekend. And we're literally like, we loved this place. We had regulars. I mean, people would say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'll be there Friday when I get off work. We're going to have some drinks. I can't wait to hang out with you guys. I'll see you Friday at 4:30. We get a phone call, don't come in. We're like, what? They're like, we're remodeling the club. We're just going to be closed for a couple months. Find somewhere to work. In the meantime, you guys are definitely welcome back. I want you guys back. You're some of my best workers. We were absolutely lost. We were freaking heartbroken. We loved this place. It loved us. We made good money. They treated us fair. It wasn't dirty. It was clean. Money was dealt with right. They didn't try to rip you off. See, you have to pay like a house fee. What a house fee is it may be some clubs they take out of your dances and your drinks. Some clubs you work on dances. Some clubs you can get paid by drinks and dances. Like the favorite club I worked at would have let's just say for instance, there were different drink cups. This could be a $10 drink. This could be a $20 drink. And you got 60%. The house, which is the club, kept 40%. Same with dances. A dance could be $40. They may take $6 or $5 each dance. All clubs are different. All clubs, some only do drinks. Some don't do drinks. Some only do dances. Some, you definitely always have a DJ payout. A DJ payout is when you tip the DJ for playing your songs, and then you have your house payout. Some clubs, one of the clubs I worked at that's super awesome that I liked for years, they had an hourly wage. I worked the daytime a lot because I love to have the nighttime still able to do things. Or if I got really, had a good customer, I would work a double. But I usually preferred the day shift so I could still have the nighttime left. Being in a new city, I still wanted to explore, have fun. And I made most of my money in the day so I could still have the night to hang out. And, it just was a little more different crowd during the day. You got your people that were in and out sometimes, your businessmen. Hey, some clubs had brunch buffets. Some clubs serve food. They would come eat lunch, off to work. They would go, hi, nice to see you. I'm having a drink, lunch, gotta go, toodaloo. So anyways, back to the club. So we think that the club's just going to be redone and we'll be back there in no time. So we're calling and calling. And he's like, not done yet, not done yet. The club's really going to be cool, you guys. Wait until you freaking see it. We've got the stage done. This is going to be so cool. I can't wait to have you guys back. So, we're working at little random clubs here on the time, but it's just not the same as the club that we liked. It's just, every club has their girl that has been there since Jump Street. Every girl has that clique of girls, and it's their club. Either they like you or they don't. There is no in between. Either they take you in with welcoming arms, or your life can be a living you-know-what, and off you're going to go. So, we're working at little random clubs, and it's all right, but it's nothing like it was. So, we finally get the phone call, and it's way past months later than we thought. It's almost a year later, and he says, we'd love to have you and so-and-so back, Kayette. We'll open Blase Day. So, we're like, yes, back to our home. That was our home club. So, he says, one catch. We're like, what? No problem. It's all nude. My heart was crushed. Here's the thing. A, I'm not going to go all nude. B, all nude clubs are there. Bring your own liquor. Bring your own beer. A, I'd never ever wanted to go nude. That was an option. B, it was a lot of the majority that I made was I would try to make drink money. I tried to be more of a talker. Like, I tried to find people that were just everyday people, kind of looking for a buddy, kind of looking like a confidant. I tried to be a good judgment of character, and I tried to, like, you know, find somebody that was legitimately there. Of course, you know, guys are guys, but I tried to weed out, you know, the talkers, somebody that came in and wanted to talk. So I was like, A, no drink money, B, I'm not going nude. That's a deal breaker. So he said, well, I'll make a deal with you guys, you know, come and try it for a couple days. You can wear your things. Well, then we get in there and everybody's like, that's not fair. They can't, you know, no, you know, it's not fair. If they, you know, basically, and it's not fair, you know, if everybody's going to go nude, everybody has to go nude, nobody, you know, exceptions, and I totally get that. So that broke my heart. I was like, the club is not the same. It was completely dark, which, you know, that was, but okay. But I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I just can't. It doesn't matter, you know, liquid courage or no, I can't do it. You know, I was like, that's just not for me. The club wasn't the same. It was completely dark in it. I mean, it literally was completely dark. You couldn't even freaking see anything. The stage was slippery. Like, the new stage they put in was so freaking slippery. I was like, this sucks. I don't like it. She's like, me neither, man. I don't want to go nude. I've got a boyfriend. You know, he's cool with me dancing, but he's not... And I'm not cool with showing my lady bits. It's dark in here. The stage is slippery. I'm like, this blows, dude. What are we going to do? So we kind of start scouting around, and, you know, it just, you know, the economy's starting to downfall, you know, in the state that I'm in, and it's just starting to suck. I'm like, this is sucking, man. I was like, I love you guys. Well, you know, so our lease is up. This is probably 2 years later now. Our lease is up, and they're like, we're going to move. We've been here forever, you know. The apartment complex kind of started getting wild. I had a dog die of parvo because the neighbor beside me raised dogs, and he raised them for the wrong reasons. So my dog ended up getting parvo, even though it had its first shot. It hadn't had its others yet because it was so little. I had a tiny little Shar Pei, a wrinkle dog, and it died of parvo. And it just, like, seemed like things just started, like, just really taking, like... The couple, not to be, you know, put in anybody's business, but the couple started fighting. My dog died of parvo. It just kind of, you know, my job wasn't the same. I hated that place. I wasn't going to work there. So I thought, you know, I told him, you know, I really respect everything you guys did for me. I really love this, you know, opportunity you gave me. You are truly one of my best friends. We have had some of the greatest times of my life, and still to this day, you know, it was some of the best times I had in my life. I still talk to her to this day. You know, I went to her wedding and everything. Great, great person. Gave me an opportunity. Still to this day is always there for me, and vice versa. If you see this video, you know who you are, little. So, I'm like, what am I going to do? I got enough money. I could live in my own place, but that's not really me. I like to have, you know, a partner in crime, a PIC, you know, I kind of don't want to live, you know, with crime. I kind of don't want to live by myself. What am I going to do right now? I'm lost. What am I going to do? So I'm like, everybody's like, go home. I'm like, no, I'm not going home to mom and family. Like, I've came too far to do that. You know, I love my family to death, but going home wasn't an option. So I thought, okay, all right. We've had some dance experience. I've always loved Atlanta. I've always thought about living in Atlanta. Let's do it. I got nothing to lose. I just lost my dog. You know, I feel like the couple that I was living with, they were kind of on the brakes. I was like, you know, I'm going. Let's do it. So, back to the strip club, the good one. So I meet this older guy, older gentleman. Nothing, you know, he had like a woman overseas he was in love with. He was like this guy that like had this dream of bringing this woman from overseas, so we became buddies. And he says, I'm going down to Florida. Do you want to ride with me? I'm going down to Florida. He was like an insurance agent, but, you know, let's just, I don't want to tell people specific. He was an insurance agent. He could work when he wanted and had different jobs, you know, that took him different places. So he says, do you want to go to Florida with me? Do some freaking fishing. I know how you are about tanning in the beach and, you know, you like to have a cocktail. Kaya, you're more than welcome to come with me. And I said, so-and-so, I don't know. I don't want to be a burden. I know you talk to your girlfriend, you know. I don't want her to think that we're even an item. You know, he's like, no, no, she's cool. Come with me. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever. So I literally packed a backpack and I was like, I'll be back. You know, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'll be back. Well, needless to say, we went Florida, had a great time, awesome time. You know, he was an older gentleman, so he would go to bed at night, and I'm like, he's like, Kaya, you get a hold of me if you need help out there. I'm like, so-and-so, I'm going to go explore the beach, have a drink. He's like, be careful, man. Don't get yourself into these shenanigans. Needless to say, one day I woke up with one high hill and decided to go swimming by myself in a hotel pool that wasn't even ours. But that's a whole nother story. But anyways, just a nice guy, man. He wasn't trying to put the Ritz on me or nothing. He was just somebody cool. He didn't have nobody. I didn't have nobody. It was somebody to hang out with. So he says, Kaya, you know, what are you doing? What's your game plan? I need to go to Atlanta for my next job. I thought, Atlanta. I've always liked Southern food. I've always sometimes, like, I love stuff. I love, you know, different culture. I love Southern food. I'll go to Atlanta with you. He says, well, you know, I'm going to be in a different side of town. Do you want to get, you know, somewhere over by the clubs? And I thought, we're going to wrap it up here in a minute. We'll show the pictures, but we're just kind of getting to the ending here. So, kind of show you how and where. And so, he says, you know, do you want to go over by the big clubs? You know, the area that I'm going to be in is going to be of use to you, know, because I still like to be independent, you know, even if I was with somebody, you know, I still like to buy my own drinks. I still like to pay my own way, you know, pave the way too. You know, here's some gas money. Here's my part of the room. You know, whatever trinkets I want along the way, I still like to have my own pocket money. So I get to Atlanta and I'm like, whoa, holy smokes, this is a whole new ball game. This is intense. So the first club that I go to, they're like, you're too big. I think I might have told bits and pieces of the story. I'm not quite for sure. You're too big, sweetheart. So a house mom is a lady that kind of, if it's a big club, they watch the back. You know, do you need lady products? Did you forget eyelash glue? I'll sell you some. Do you want to buy some pantyhose? They watch the lockers. It's just, you know, maybe a stitch in your outfit breaks. You can pay her to sew it. They're just kind of like the who's in charge of the back dressing room. So the house mom says, you know, I can feel her looking me up and down. She says, now mind you guys, literally, I mean, I was big, but good night, I wasn't that freaking big, like, Jiminy Christmas. So that hit me hard. I felt stupid. I was so excited when I walked in and I had my backpack. All these people were like, hi, nice to meet you. The girls, the guys, I can't wait till you get up on stage. I'm going to tip you. Welcome, welcome. And this is a big time club in Atlanta. Big time, like, well known. So I'm like, she's like, you need to drop about 20 pounds and come back. You're cute, but come back. And I'm like, shoo you, lady. Like, I'm big, but I mean, you guys see, I'm way bigger now than I was back then. So she's like, drop about 20 pounds and come back, holler at me. And I'm like, dude, it crushed me. I just felt stupid. And everybody's like, whoa, where are you going? Like, thought you were going to try out. And I was like, she won't let me. I'm too big. And they're like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? Like, I was going to tip you. And they're like, so I'm starting to tear up. And I was like, they're like, we're going to, I'm like, no, don't go say anything to her. I just got my backpack and left. Like, I didn't even stay. I was going to stay in it. And I was like, I'm out of here. So, you know, I get back to my room and I'm crushed. And I'm like, man, this room that I'm staying at is like $400 a week. You know, it's a decent room. It's like got a little kitchenette, refrigerator, stove. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm not going to depend on so-and-so to help me. Like, I got to come up with a plan. Like, I got like 5-6 days. I mean, so-and-so would have helped me if I needed, but that's not, I'm not going to be a burden to somebody else. Do you know what I mean? I chose to stay down there. It's my point to feed myself and keep a roof over my head. Long story short, I ended up finding somebody cool, a buddy, ended up linking up, helped me find a good club. I really ended up finding a good club, found a great place for a while, and then stayed down there for years. But anyways, I'll show you some of the pictures. Some of the pictures are from down there. Some of the pictures are from here. I did put post-it notes over people to respect their privacy. So if you see what these post-it notes are, I again tried to please keep your comments. I just kind of wanted to give you what it was like back in the day. Please keep the comments respectful. If you're, younger, and this is a good way, if you can leave the club at club and leave home at home, they have to be two separate entities. You have to be careful that, you can get a lot of drinking in there, become an alcoholic. There is drug use in the club, and that's things like that, So it is a cool little way to make money, and it is a cool little, I have memories and friends that I still talk to, but just... I know most of you are my age, but I'm saying if anybody younger would come across this, just be careful. And the economy is way different compared to when I was younger. But, just be careful. Never leave your drink unattended. Just be careful. Some people will befriend you to try to, see what they can get out of you, and it's just a dog eat dog world. But if you know how to keep work at work and home at home, it can be lucrative. But that's why I say with Foodie and this OnlyFans, thank God, when I was dancing, you can make lots of money. And you asked today what happened to all the money. I blew most of it, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you're making fast money like that, I was young. I wish I would have been like my age now to be like, hey, I should have put all this back. But cars, clothes, shoes, bags, makeup, jewelry, nails, dogs, you name it, clothes, if I haven't said it, it just goes as quick as you get it. So, when you're younger like that, if you do something like that, try to, really establish yourself. I wish that I would have set back some of the money, but I had a heck of a good time. This is just in a dressing room is where this is. So if you say, that looks pretty junky. Oh, my little backpack. Look at my little baby fat bag over here. But this is just the dressing room where you put your makeup on. You got your lockers over here, your irons. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure everybody's private. This is one of my best friends here in the middle. And if she ever comes, we'll do a story time and I'll pull. But, again, I don't want to, my dreadlocks were getting really big and thick and long there. But, I don't want to show, I obviously haven't talked to her tonight, so I don't want to show, anybody's picture without discussing it with them. And look, I had a little bit of a line. I just always have had this little chub here. Obviously not but... I wasn't too bad. Like, lose 20 pounds and holler back at me? Yikes. Sorry, I'm making sure these Post-its are on here good. This is a club that, me and these girls and this guy started. It was like an after hours, and, our first night, fire department came, and, we had like mini bottles and we'd give a cup, but this was an actually club that we like made an after hours, like rented a building and made like our own little club. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. I'm making sure these Post-it notes aren't falling off. This was a nurse's costume. I don't know where my hat was, but again, this is just back in the dressing room. This is one of my favorite outfits. The stinking outfit. This was $180, you guys. Like, I'm telling you, dance outfits, are not cheap at all. Let me make sure for YouTube's sake, but you get the point. And that's just like I said, most of these are in the dressing room. I have a couple magazine articles here. I gotta be careful that I don't show anybody else, but this is a magazine. And they came before I had my makeup on. I was like, absolutely no. Yeah, they came before I had my makeup on, and I was like, I don't want to do it. And I was like, oh, God. They're like, you're fine without makeup. And I was like, yikes, look how young I look, you guys. Yeah, the people were supposed to show up at a certain time, and I was like, no. I want to I'm making sure again I don't want it. And one more, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to, with these magazine articles, make sure nobody else gets showed. Look how much younger I look. All right, guys. Well, that is it. That is my story, one of the careers I've had. Believe me, I've had many jobs, so I'm sure I have more story times, and I hope that you enjoy them, and I hope that I didn't offend anybody. And like I said, you know, I never want to offend anybody, but I figured there is different things, magazines and stuff, and I don't want somebody to expose me, so I figured I might as well do it myself. So let me know if you want to go through my old dance bag. We can do like a what's in my old dance bag. I need to, like I said, get rid of stuff. I mean, this is perfectly, you know, wash it up, of course. Well, it's clean, but you know what I mean. It kind of probably smells like from being in a box, but all this stuff can go to a good home. I couldn't fit my fat tail in there if I had to. Maybe there's something I might be able to fit in. One of the clubs I worked at had like long ball gowns. It was like a nice club that had balls, so maybe there is a couple ball gowns I might be able to fit in, so maybe that'd be a cool video if you guys are excited. So it's nothing like this, so don't worry. All right, guys, leave me a thumbs up. Let me know, do you like these story times about my life? Leave me in the comments. Have you ever danced? Have you had a family member that's danced? Have you ever been curious about dancing? And I will talk to you later. Leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Have a great day, great night. When I see you, I will see you again. Kaya is out.